Since Chibi-Robo launched just a couple of months before the Wii did back in 2006, the Wii overshadowed it completely. Combine that with a lack of advertisements and you have yourself an unsuccessful game release. But damn, this is a good game. I mean really good. The characters are charming, the story is sad but sweet, and the gameplay is simple but satisfying. And I want to go over some regional differences in unused content found in the game. Thanks to the cutting room floor for doing all this work for this little game that absolutely deserves more love and attention. First, I'm going through the unused content. Chibi-Robo's Chibi-Copters used to hover across gaps and help slow his descent. Apparently it used to have 2 blades instead of 3 and they were much thinner. This version of the copter is animated too and it seems to have been removed late in development. The file name also has level 1 in it, implying that the blades we see in the final game might have been intended to be an upgrade to the copter. The utility bots also have several expressions that have been removed where it seems like it's reacting to something. They also used to have voices, but they don't in the final game. There's also this wardrobe which has a few animations. I'm wondering if this was how Chibi was supposed to change outfits. In the final games you just press X and select the outfit you want. There's this weird metal pipe whose file name suggests that it has something to do with the Chibi doors. It makes me wonder if there were supposed to be multiple levels inside of the doors. We also have several animations and sound effects for fire and smoke intended to be used on the kitchen gas stove. The scam artist Pico will also sometimes appear on the stove, burning as part of his training. So the fire effects have something to do with this. Pico also had this chair, which even had an animation for this door opening and closing. There's also an ink and pen icon, as well as a 3D model for the ink. This would have been part of some side quest for Sophie, since she's always writing away in her diary. There are also some smudges that were removed, but more interesting than that were these wacky trees. They seem to correspond with growing moolah, the game's currency, happy points, and scrap. There's also this robot. I don't know what it's supposed to do, but it's amazing, and I love it. There's an early version of the exclamation mark we have in the final game, which is how Chibi-Robo says yes. While I think the idea of it being Chibi-Robo shaped is cute, I totally get why they changed it into something a little more simple. There's also this audio file of a man chanting. There's also a lot of unused items related to a Telly side story, so let me just explain it real quick. There's this bit early on where Telly is so excited about the first utility bot being created that he wants to sing a song of his called the Teriyaki Blues, and this happens. If you sit on this door stopper or this mushroom for a little while, Telly will begin to talk to you about his ambitions and slowly growing his music career. Eventually he'll be wearing a tuxedo and he'll be talking about this music competition that he wants to partake in. There's various unused items like letters and newspapers related to this, and this really epic photo of Telly looking fresh. There's a banner and then some sort of book or something with the title Best Song, hyping up his hit single Teriyaki Blues. Eventually he wins the music competition and shows off his trophy, which you can see had several iterations before we got the one in the final release. There's also an unused golden record. So part of this whole gag is that every time Telly wants to sing his hit single, he always gets interrupted. Until after he's won his competition, if you talk to the dancing flower, Funky Phil, he'll play songs for you and dance to them. But once the competition is won, he will bring out Telly, who will finally sing his single, Teriyaki Blues, uninterrupted. This leads us to the regional differences, because Teriyaki Blues is a bit different in the Japanese version, because it has different lyrics. There is also an earlier version of the same song with slightly altered lyrics, which goes unused. Drake Redcrest also has a theme song with lyrics. Which was changed for the North American version. While sadly the PAL version is just an instrumental. I don't know why they felt the need to remove the lyrics from it when Teriyaki Blues already is sung in English, but then again that song kind of had to be sung, otherwise the whole side quest wouldn't make any sense. In the Japanese version of the game, instead of having a green exclamation mark and this circle with a slash through it, you have a red circle for yes and a blue X for no. A lot of the changes come from one simple tweak to Drake Redcrest's design. In the Japanese version he has a blue visor, and internationally he has a yellow visor, which means that all the memorabilia and anything featuring him has to be tweaked. I really wonder why they made this change, but I gotta say I do prefer the yellow visor. And as you can see on this cup here, his Japanese name is Gikkoman. Jenny will also make various drawings throughout the game, one of which is this little drawing of Chibi-Robo in his Drake Redcrest suit. Although in the cutting room floor they say that the visor is still blue on this drawing in the international release when it's supposed to be yellow. Although in my PAL version I can see that the drawing has a yellow visor, which makes me wonder if they just noticed this in the North American release and then changed it for the European one. There were some minor tweaks to the Free Rangers. In the Japanese version their guns are black, and internationally they're more like a wooden texture. But a small change I actually really like is their noses. It's really cute. This was not in the original Japanese release. Another small change was how the champagne looking drink at the birthday party looks like some kind of green soda in the international version. Also present at the birthday party is this banner that in the Japanese version reads "Happy Birthday Jenny," but internationally it's this really charming and cute illustration of the family. There's also this soda that just has scribbles that are impossible to make out. In the Japanese version it just says "cool," which I think is great. There's a lot of changes like this where legible text was changed to scribbles in the international version. Also, Tao's doghouse, you see this little bone under his face, but in the Japanese version it actually spells out Tao. I'm assuming they made this change in case other localizations wanted to change the name of the dog for whatever reason. One change I wish they didn't make is this push block puzzle that used to spell the word love, but in the international release it's just these like symbols. There's also a playable Tamagotchi which is red in the Japanese version, but this Tamagotchi was not released internationally, so that's why they changed the color to a version that actually did release internationally. The Space Scrambler has a design that reminds me a lot of Buzz Lightyear's ship, but in the Japanese version the design and name were clearly inspired by Star Wars' Y-Wing and X-Wing fighters. Brace yourselves for the N-Wing. That's what it's called, the N-Wing. Yeah. Some changes to the audio were made, like Jenny's croaking sounding more like the Japanese kiro kiro, which is the Japanese onomatopoeia for frog sounds. It sounds closer to ribbit in the international release. There's two really interesting changes made to Sarge's voice. His voice clips are actually taken from Monty Python's The Meaning of Life.
Now, today we're going to do marching up and down the square. That is, unless any of you got anything better to do. Well, anyone got anything they'd rather be doing than marching up and down the square?
Two of his voice clips used to sound like this,
And you, to you?
but were changed to this.
Yeah, no!
I prefer the international versions. They make him sound more aggressive and it just sounds a lot funnier to me. Those are a lot of the changes in unused content. If you want to see more, please check out the cutting room floor. Thanks for watching. I'll leave you with the sound of this unused jingle whose purpose is still unknown.